Netra TV நேசத்தின் நெருக்கம்.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
And a warm welcome to the news live from the National News Studios. And I'm Sharifa Tahir. Together with me tonight on the bulletin is Lakshita Edirisinghe. First off, we take a look at the headlines. The Colombo Stock Exchange records high growth again. Kandy Assalaa Festival concludes successfully and the scroll handed over to the President. A ship carrying 35,000 metric tons of petrol arrives in the country. All tents at Golface Green have been removed. 4 suspects including Danish Ali further remanded in connection with damaging property at the President's house. A request has been made to get the 4th dose of the COVID vaccine soon. An organized criminal known as Harakata arrested in Dubai. Firefighters make strenuous efforts to control wildfires in France.
On to those and other stories in detail. We'll start off with some local stories where the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded its highest growth today after March.
Analysts point out that it is a positive sign for the market. The all-share price index passed 9,000 points today for the first time after March.
The Colombo Stock Exchange performed really well and ended up with a very positive note end of this week. The all-share price index stated at 9,027.48, increased by 321.31 as of today. It has grown by 3.69% for the day. And also the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index also stated as 3,072.01, increased by 143.05 as of today. It also has grown by 4.88% for today. The daily turnover concluded as 6.3 billion rupees with 209.9 million shares were traded in 48,184 trades. When you compare this performance with the last week concluded on 5th of August, all 2 price indices, S&P Sri Lanka 20 index and also the all share price index, has been grown by over 50%. Also, when we compare about the number of shares traded has been increased 50% with this week. With all these aspects, we can see the Colombo Stock Exchange performing really well and with a positive vibe and a momentum.
The final Ramdoli procession of Kandy Assalaa Festival paraded the streets last night.
People were able to watch the procession after 3 years. Accordingly, a large number of people arrived to watch the procession. The final Ramdoli procession commenced at the auspicious time of 6:35 p.m, accompanied with the processions of Natha, Vishnu, Katargama and Pattini Devalayas. The final procession moved through Dalada Vidya, Yatinura Vidya, Kandi Vidya, DS Senanayaka Vidya and Cross Street. The sacred casket was carried by Indiraja Tusker. He was accompanied by Tusker's Miyan Raja and Buruma Raja. Basnayaka Nilame's of 4 Devalayas and Devadana Nilame of Sri Dalada Maligava Pradeep Nilanga Dela took part in the procession. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was also present to watch the final Randoli procession. The processions of the four Devalayas conducted rituals at the relevant Devala premises, and the water cutting ceremony took place at Katukale at the auspicious time of 5:50 am. Rituals such as sending the cup which was planted at the commencement of Assalaa procession in the Mahaveli river and the water taken to a container after striking the water with a sword took place on the occasion. That water was placed at Ganadevi Kovil in Katukale. Thereafter it was placed at four Devalayas after the day procession today. At the auspicious time of 1:30 pm, the procession carrying the sacred casket moved from Asgiri Gedige temple and moved along D.S. Nanayaka Vidya towards Deva Vidya and returned to Dalada Maligawa through Raja Vidya.
Diyavadana Nilame of Sri Dalada Maligawa handed over the scroll to the President this afternoon, stating that the Kandy Assalaa Perahara was concluded successfully. It was handed over at the President's house in Kandy according to historic traditions. After the Kandy Assalaa procession, Diyavadana Nilame and other Nilames arrived at the President's house in a procession. Thereafter, the scroll stating successful conclusion of the Perahara festival was handed over to the President. The President handed over awards and certificates.
පෙරහර මංගල්‍යයට සහභාගී වූ ප්‍රවීණ කලා ශිල්පීන්ට හා විශිෂ්ට දස්කම් ප්‍රදර්ශනය කළ ශිල්පීන්ට ජනාධිපතිතුමාතින් සම්මාන හා සහතිකපත් ප්‍රදානය කෙරුණා.
මේ ඇසළ පෙරහැර පැවැත්වුවේ ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම අවුරුදු දෙකක
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Assalaa procession was conducted after 2 years. Although it was held in the previous 2 years, it was not conducted fully. A large number of people watched the procession. Diyavadana Nilame, Basnayaka Nilames and all other officials connected to Sri Dalada Maligawa should be thanked. The country was able to view a beautiful procession. The processions were conducted from Devinura to Nallur with the blessings of the four gods, including God Shiva. We witnessed the participation of a large number of people. Conducting processions is a part of a tradition of the country. The procession was conducted when there is a collapse of the economy which affects everyone. We have to end this difficult period. We have to overcome all these obstacles. We have to move forward. The country will get a new economy and the people will get the opportunity to live in a good country. We will get the strength through the processions conducted, including the Kandy Assalaa procession. We will get blessings and security for the future. My hope is to build a country. We should move forward by building a new economy and future. I request for the blessings and security of the sacred tooth relic to build the country. The final procession of the Assalaa Festival of historic Ruhunu Mahakataragama Mahadevalaya paraded the streets last night.
The procession was commenced on the 29th and was conducted for 14 days in a grand scale. The final procession commenced at the auspicious time of 7:34 p.m. yesterday. According to the traditions, a part of offertory received by Ruhunu Maha Kataragama Devalaya during the procession period was offered to Kirivehera. After religious practices conducted by the chief prelate of Kirivehera Raja Maha Vihara, Venerable Kobawaka Dhammadinna Thera, Basnayak Nilame of Kataragama Devalaya, Dishan Gunasekara, announced the conclusion of the procession. After rituals near Kirivehera, the procession returned to the Devala premises. Thereafter it went to Valyamma Devalaya through Pitavidya and returned to Mahadevalaya through Mahavidya. The Kataragama Assalaa Festival concluded after the water cutting ceremony in Maniganga this morning.
The debate on the policy statement of the President took place for the third day in Parliament today. Several politicians expressed their views on the debate. Samagi Jana Balavegya MP Dr. Harsha De Silva said that he agreed with the economic policy presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. A social market economy should be created based on knowledge and technology. That is a program to develop the country. It was written between 2010 and 2014 when we were in the opposition. Today's president was then opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. We agreed with all parties. There is no question about an all-party government program, methodology or rule. But I don't see that is taking place. There is a responsibility for political party leaders at the moment, and I request them not to give up the responsibility.
මේ රට දියුණු කරන්න තියෙන වැඩපිළිවෙල 2010-14 කාලේ අපි විපක්ෂයේ ඉන්නකොට අපි ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා වාඩි වෙලා මේක ලිව්වේ. අද ජනාධිපති එදා විපක්ෂයේ අපේ නායක රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා, සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා, අපේ සියලු කණ්ඩායම අපි මේකත් එක්ක එකඟ වුණා. පක්ෂ විපක්ෂ සුළු පිරිසකින් නිසි වැඩපිළිවෙලක් හරහා කෙටි කාලීන අපි සර්වපාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක්ද රජයක්ද වැඩපිළිවෙලක්ද ක්‍රමවේදයක්ද පාලනයක්ද කියන එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. අපිට ඒක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි කරමු. නමුත් මට පේන්නේ නැහැ ඒ දේ සිද්ධ වෙනවා. බැරි වුණොත් අපි ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි කනගාටු වෙන්න ඕනේ. දේශපාලන නායකයන්ට ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම වගකීමක් තියෙනවා මේ අවස්ථාවේදී. ඒ වගකීම අත්හරින්න එපා කියලා මම ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම ඉල්ලනවා.
Chief Government Whip Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that as a party, support is given to establish an all-party government while keeping majority power in Parliament. A certain sacrifice will be made to support the all-party government. The all-party government is given support to achieve what the voters who voted for Pohotua wanted. I request Janata Vimukti Peramuna to join the all-party government.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය හා සමගි ජන බලවේගයට කිව්ව ටොයියෝ කියලා. අද ඒ අය කියනවා ටොයියෝ බයියෝ එකතු වෙලා ටොයි බයි ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්න යනවා කියලා. ටොයි බයියෝ එක්කහුව වෙලා සර්වපාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක් හදලා රටේ ජනතාවගේ බලාපොරොත්තු ඉටු කරන්න හදනවා නම් මම ආරාධනා කරනවා ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණේ ගෝපයියන්ටත් ඇවිල්ලා මේ සර්වපාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවට එක්කහුව වෙන්න කියලා.
අද මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සර්වපාක්ෂික
Jathika Jana Balavega MP Anura Kumara Dissanayake said that despite all-party, multi-party or one-party government being formed, solutions are expected the next day. today. A resting period is needed with the approval of the public. That period can be obtained only through a new people's mandate. A ship carrying 35,000 metric tons of petrol arrived in the country last night.
Unloading of petrol from the ship has commenced. Meanwhile, issuing a Twitter message, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara has said that 5,811,466 have registered for the National Fuel Pass. Minister Bandura Gunawardhan inspected Valikanda tank complex where oil can be stored. The tank complex, which has been abandoned for about 30 years, is located near Valikanda railway station. The complex includes 5 tanks which can store 54,000 oil litres each. The minister said steps will be taken to store fuel needed by the farmers in Mahaweli B zone by restoring the tank complex. Distribution of fuel according to the National Fuel Pass is taking place successfully island-wide. Accordingly, there is a reduction of congestion near filling stations. Electrogas company is distributing gas continuously island-wide and there are no queues at present. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara has visited the System Operations Centre of the Electricity Board this morning and held discussions on electricity generation, supply and management of shedding. Discussions also took place on fuel need and the developments to provide a continuous electricity supply. Tents and all other constructions at the Golfes Green were removed by this afternoon.
Officials of the Urban Development Authority with the police and police special task force went to the place this morning and informed to remove all tents today. Using loudspeakers around 11:45 am, police said that 1 hour will be given to all persons to vacate the place. Accordingly, people engaged in the struggle took steps to remove tents and the persons staying in them with the assistance of the police. Meanwhile, police have arrested a person using drugs in a tent. Police said that they found evidence of some persons in the tents using drugs. However, all tents at the place were removed around 1:30 p.m. today. Protesters and other groups stayed at the place for 125 days.
Fort Magistrate Court ordered today to further remand 4 suspects, including Danish Ali, taken into custody for damaging property at the President's house until the 26th of this month. The case was taken up before Fort Magistrate Tilina Gamage today. The Fort Police requested the court to further remand the suspects as investigations are continuing into the incident. Accordingly, the magistrate ordered the suspects to be further remanded until the 26th of this month. Colombo Fort Magistrate ordered to release Reverend Father Jeevantha Piris, who surrendered to the court through lawyers on 2 personal bails of 500,000 rupees each. The magistrate banned him from leaving overseas and ordered to make a statement to police tomorrow. The case is to be taken up again on the 26th of this month. The complaint made in connection with the delay in producing more than 10.7 million rupees handed over to police by the protesters after being found at the President's house to court was taken up before Fort Magistrate Tilina Gamage today. The Police Special Investigations Unit submitted a report to the Magistrate Court. Director of the unit, Senior SP DS Vikramasinghe, informed the court that investigations were conducted by getting details of telephone calls on an order obtained from the court. He said when examining the calls, it was revealed that Western Province Senior DIG Deshabandhu Tennakone has given a call to Fort Police OIC. Mr. Vikramasinghe informed the court that Mr. Deshabandhu Tennakone has given a statement to the police that he did not advise Fort Police OIC about the steps to be taken about the money through the telephone call. The magistrate ordered to take up the case again on the 26th and to inform the progress of investigations. Meanwhile, Colombo Fort Magistrate Court has rejected a request made by Sri Lanka's former ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Weeratunga, to leave overseas. Mr. Udayanga Weeratunga has been named as a suspect according to investigations on criminal misappropriation of $7 million when purchasing MiG planes for Sri Lanka Air Force. When he was bailed out, the court imposed a foreign travel ban on him. Submitting a motion in court today, Mr. Weeratunga's counsel said that his client needs to go overseas to attend a trade conference. The CID objected to the request. They said that the suspect evaded the court since 2015 and returned to the country after the new government came into power in 2019. Therefore, they pointed out that it is uncertain he would return if permission was given to go overseas. After considering the details, the request made on behalf of the suspect was rejected.
Health authorities have requested the public to get the 4th dose of the COVID vaccine soon. They pointed out the solution to the increased number of corona patients is vaccination. Given the 4th dose of the vaccine is taking place at many centres island-wide, Dr. Mahinda Wickramaratne, who is in charge of vaccine clinics at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital, says that the reports setting those vaccines have expired are false. He requested the public to visit a vaccination centre and get the vaccine soon.
The Ministry of Health has implemented a program to network 600 hospitals island-wide through a widescreen television system with the assistance of the World Bank.
$185 million have been spent on the program. Director of the Primary Health Services, Dr. Jayasundara Bandara, said that due to this reorganization, all information will be received by the electronic data system. All rural hospitals will be included in the management system during the next 3 to 4 years. By now, more than 1 million people and 300 hospitals have been registered in the system. 600 hospitals have been networked. The Health Ministry has introduced a methodology to manage grievances. Accordingly, anyone can inform about their problems through the hotline 1907, email or through WhatsApp. Additional services of the Ministry has introduced a methodology to manage them.
Organised criminal Nadun Chintaka alias Harakkata has been arrested in Dubai. He has been arrested following a joint operation by Police Anti-Narcotic Bureau and the International Police. When he was arrested at Dubai International Airport, it was reported that he was prepared to leave for Malaysia with a woman. It has been found that his passport has been prepared inserting fake information. Police said he has visited other countries from Dubai using the forged passport. Police Anti-Narcotic Bureau and the Navy seized drugs on several occasions sent to Sri Lanka by Nadun Chintaka alias Harakkata. Police said he is responsible for directing organised criminals in the country and for a series of killings, including killing of drug racketeers against him. Police Special Task Force has arrested 2 persons who abducted a 14-year-old girl and kept her at Lunugala Udakiruwa Forest Reserve. Passara Police Special Task Force officers conducted a raid at Udakiruwa Forest Reserve yesterday after a complaint made to Lunugala Police Station. Police said 2 persons in the ages of 18 and 53 years who are residents of Lunugala and Beruwala were arrested in connection with the incident. The girl has been sent to Lunugala Hospital for a medical examination.
We now bring you a report from the Attanagala area about a couple who draws pictures at the temples even without considering the economic benefits of it. Mr. Heshan Jayakodi and his wife Ashani Dasanayaka draws pictures at the Attanagala Havenivala Historic Temple. Chief monk of the temple, Venerable Pallithu Tirupitiya Priyadarshithera, said that they are devotees of the temple and they draw natural pictures.
Ambalatota Paddy Research Institute has found a new white Kakulu Nadu paddy variety. It has been named as AT-378. Deputy Director of the Ambalantota Paddy Research Institute, Harshini Sirivardhana, said that they have commenced distributing the paddy variety among the farmers in the area. The new variety can be harvested in 3 months and 180 bushels of paddy can be obtained from an acre. The paddy variety has been produced targeting Hambantota, Polonnaruwa, Anuradhapura, Matara, Galle and Ratnapura districts. Ambalantota Paddy Research Institute said that the variety can be cultivated in any area of the country. That's it for local stories. Stay tuned with us. News from overseas coming your way.
Welcome back. We move on to international news. More than 1,000 firefighters are battling a monster wildfire in southwestern France that has already destroyed about 7,400 hectares of forest. The blaze, about 19 miles southeast of Bordeaux, has gutted some homes and forced 10,000 residents to flee. Strong winds and high temperatures are hampering the firefighting operation. 65 German firefighters have arrived from Bonn, and others from Poland and Romania are expected in the fire zone soon. France has 9 water-bombing helicopters deployed and is also getting some firefighting aircraft from Greece and Sweden. The wildfire in France's Gironde region has been raging for 2 days near the small town of Landiras. The same area last month, a wildfire burned 14,000 hectares before being contained.
Samsung heir Lee Jae-yong, convicted of bribery and embezzlement in 2017, has been granted a special presidential pardon. One of South Korea's most powerful white-collar criminals, Lee was twice imprisoned for bribing a former president. South Korea's government justified the move, saying the de facto leader of the country's biggest company was needed back at the helm to spearhead economic recovery post-pandemic. This marks another swing in a struggle over how the country is run that has raged since mass protests took over Seoul 6 years ago and ousted a president from office. Lee's crimes were directly tied up in the corruption scandal that led to the imprisonment of former President Park Geun-hye. In office from 2013 to 2017, the Crown Prince of Samsung, as he was dubbed by protesters, paid $8 million in bribes to President Park and her associate to secure support for a merger opposed by shareholders that would show up his control of his family's empire.
And we now move on to sports news, and currently Sri Lanka is hosting the Davis Tennis Cup tournament in Colombo, and what's interesting is that Sri Lanka has managed to top the A group right now in the tournament. Let's have more details on it.
Harshana Godamana and Yasitha De Silva won their respective matches against Kyrgyzstan. Chaturya Nilavira and Tehan Vijayamana have won the doubles match. Sri Lanka, leading in the A group, will play against Iraq tomorrow, which is leading in the B group. If Sri Lanka wins the match, it will move to the third group from the fourth.
And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Together with Lakshita, I am Sharifah Tahir, wishing you a very pleasant night.